Hello, Five Knuckle fans, and welcome to another Spencer review. But this one is different. This one is themed for the Halloween season, where I will review daily movies available on Netflix. Yeah, so that's, I'm planning on doing the series, just now. It probably would have been better if I came up with this idea before, but yeah, from every day this forward, I am going to be watching movies on Netflix and reviewing them. Why Netflix? Well, one, they're easily available, so the good movies I can recommend, you can see like that. And two, I ran out of money a lot faster than I thought I would by going to all these screenings. So until the next free screening comes along, I'm mostly going to be sticking to these movies. So these are all going to be horror movies. It is October, so horror, supernatural, thriller, all that stuff. I'm going to try to look towards the more obscure ones. I mean, I could go through and review the entire Friday the 13th and entire Nightmare on Elm Street series. But I feel like, if I give lesser-known horror movies the recognition that they deserve, who knows, they could be household names because of me, the little channel with 51 subscribers, could be the precursor to an instant classic. And what classic did I review today? The Pact. Yes, The Pact, directed by Nicholas McCarthy. That's how you say it. Yes, it started off as a short, then he made it into a full-length film, and it was pretty good. It was nothing like, not to narc on it, but it was nothing spectacular by any means, but the things it does well, it does pretty well. So some family members of a recently deceased mother all come into town for her funeral. One sister, Nicole, is staying inside the house they grew up in as children, and she ends up going missing. So then her cousin and her sister Annie sort of look into it, find out where she's gone, and find out, yeah, something's wrong with that house. This film has the same subtlety as, say, for example, A Paranormal Activity, small things out of place, quiet, quick things moving out of the screen. And you don't really know where it's going. Granted, the place it went raises a few questions, which I'll get into in the spoiler section, but onwards. The acting was decent. There was a nice little mystery to this, good, creepy atmosphere. Not a lot happens death or blood-wise, and it still managed to be entertaining in that regard. So, props to that. Like, you could have easily just had gallons of blood all over the place in terms of what happened, but for the most part, it was actually pretty subtle, which, is something you don't see very often in horror gore fests. I mean, just look at Eli Roth and his success. So yeah, decent acting, pretty decent effects, I'd say. I mean, they're small and whatnot, and I kind of see how they did them, but they did them well enough to where they were believable, so good job. The story was okay. Again, you're not going to know where this is going the first time around. There are going to be surprises in store for you. And the characters are likable. There's this blind psychic girl in the movie, and to be honest, she was my favorite character. She was awesome. Like, honestly, she deserved to be the star of that movie. I mean, come on. A blind psychic that can communicate with ghosts. How awesome is that? And there were some not so great characters, like the boyfriend, friend, family member, whoever of the psychic girl. He was sort of over-the-top angry. Like, that was his one expression throughout the entire film. Like, he would freak out over the littlest things. And he freaked out over the big things, too. But he reacts the same way to everything. It's weird. You can't take that guy to a party. The main character, Annie, although a little bland, she's cool, she's capable, knows how to get out of situations, and can fight for herself. So, you know, cool empowerment and whatnot. Empowerment. So yeah, that's the Pact. What would I give it? I give the Pact a 3 out of 5, you know. Not to narc on it, nothing special, but it's just okay in my opinion. Everything is okay. It's not necessarily a bad thing. I would, you know, recommend this movie to some people. If you want maybe a horror movie that's a little more subtle with its horror, not quite in your face, with a little bit of mystery to it, then yeah, The Pact is for you. 3 out of 5. Okay, spoiler section. This section's for people who have seen the movie or don't want to see the movie. Either way, there were a couple of things that bothered me in this movie. So, of course, as you all know, if you have seen it, the one that made the women disappear and the cop disappear was a dude. A dude living in the crawl space of the house, I think? Whatever. Okay, so he's living in the crawl space of the house, killing these people. And my main question is, okay, so the ghosts want him dead. The ghosts want the killer taken care of. Why can't they do it themselves? I mean, Annie didn't do shit to anyone in the film, and she was picked up, she was thrown against walls and dragged across the floor. Why couldn't the ghost, like, levitate a knife and stab the dude? Or, like, make him fall down some stairs? Or, hell, hurl him into the wall and break his neck? Why didn't the ghosts attack him at all? The only people they seemed to affect were everyone else. I just didn't get that. I mean, it was creepy, the reveal of this dude living in this hidden section of the house with all these peepholes in the walls. It would explain how he knew where everyone was, and they explained how he got around without being detected. But what is going on? Why don't they attack him? And another thing, that crawl space, like inside the closet, that was small. He had to get down on his stomach and crawl through there. So what was this whole woman wandering into the darkness of the closet thing? Like, we saw how small that was. She would have hit her nose against the wall within a few steps. Like, did he grab her by the legs and pull her under? Like, you know, I'm not asking you to spoon feed me everything, but I'm assuming when she goes into dark room, she is going to disappear in said dark room. So, you know, what happened? I don't know. Maybe I'm just a buffoon and I don't understand, you know, non-verbal storytelling. Fine, whatever. Again, minor gripes, but come on, why did the ghosts attack the killer? He murdered them, and they were scaring the shit out of Annie. They were picking up Annie and throwing her and dragging her everywhere, but they didn't remotely attack the guy. Even at the end, they didn't attack the guy. When she had to stab him with a goddamn coat hanger, yet, what, they're not gonna, like, knock him down? That way it's easier for her to stab him in the face? Jeez. And the ending, are they implying that he survived? Or is that like, because it didn't seem, yeah, there were weird things in too. Like, were these dream sequences throughout the movie where he's like crying on the bed, or at the end where you see, I think, his eye or someone else's eye or his ghost's eye? Like, were these dream sequences visions? I don't know, it all seems weird to me. Like, there's even one where Annie's staying at the hotel and she sees some dude crying on the bed just like the killer. So, is that the ghosts messing with her head? Are the ghosts giving her these visions? Because that stuff we never see her see in the movie. But she knows what the killer looks like, even though at that point she didn't know what he looked like. I don't know. Either way, you know, I'm nitpicking far more at this movie than it probably deserves. I mean, it was still a good movie, don't get me... Shut up. It was still a good movie, don't get me wrong. It's just, the plot twist of what the killer was just confuses me. Oh well. I'm going to be seeing the sequel next. I'll have that review up either tomorrow or maybe the same day. It depends. Who knows, maybe I can crank out 40 movie reviews in 20 days instead of just 20. Fingers crossed, don't get your hopes up. That's a lot of work for me, and I'm really lazy. So anyways, The Pact, 3 out of 5, yeah, I'd recommend it. Sure, go ahead. Check it out.